Hi, and welcome to Three Questions with. Got my longtime friend Jay McHugh with us from Sending Out Cards. Jay, welcome to the show, brother.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you.
So, Jay, I asked you to come on the show today because I want to talk a little bit about relationship building. One of the challenges I have, and I see with my friends, is that success brings problems we didn't anticipate. And a lot of times it's in the follow up, Jay. Someone becomes a client, I look like, oh, geez, I haven't spoken to that person in a few months. You meet someone who wants to come to events, oh, I haven't followed up with them. It gets harder as the network grows. What advice do you have for people to find a way to build those relationships?
Well, certainly, I appreciate the question. Is that people should enable a successful follow-up process, whether it's email, text, or send out card program, simply because if you're not staying in touch with those clients, your competition thanks you. Because if you're not thanking them and staying top of mind, then they're going to yield, waiver off, et cetera, et cetera. So it's very vital and important in today's market when they're getting inundated with messages, social media, et cetera, that you need to stay top of mind. Pick the 20, 40, 50, 100 people that would come to your wake, your funeral, or more importantly, your wedding, and you'll be far better off than trying to chase 8 billion people on this earth.
That's great advice, Jay, because I've seen this a lot where someone will use real estate because you're involved in that. And someone's like, hey, I bought a house. I'm like, oh, congratulations, Jay. Who'd you use as a realtor? I used X. Huh. I thought you were much more friendly with Y. Oh my God, Kev. I didn't even think of Y. I haven't seen him in 6 months. I met X, they were interacting with me. To your point, top of mind, I bought a house with X. That happens all the time, right?
It does, and it's because people are chasing, the next shiny object instead of just staying in touch and really having a cultivated way of asking for introductions or referrals. Nobody wants to be commission breath. Nobody wants to puke on people asking for business. But if you do it in a very integrity way, authentic way, people want to help you. But if they don't hear from you, then they think we went into the indifferent phase. We went into the indifferent. I'm not sure if Jay still likes me. He's selling $1 million homes. I bought a $200,000 condo. I'm not going to call him and embarrass him. Well, that's my fault. It's not their fault.
No.
And therefore, that's how you stay in touch with people, because people count, numbers don't. When you focus on people, you'll have an infinite amount of business. When you focus on numbers, you get what I call cement shoes, and you fall into proverbial bankruptcy.
So, Jay, the next question is we talk about it's all in the follow up is how many times do we follow up? I have to admit I'm guilty of this. And it's kind of ironic because I get busy and miss messages. Well, geez, I asked Jay a couple times if he wanted to come to my events. He didn't respond. Jay's not interested. It takes more than two times, though, right?
Absolutely. There's been many studies, case studies, et cetera, and they say between 5 and 13 times, 80% of all sales are made. Yet most amateurs will stop after first, second, or third, thinking it's a waste of time. But we're all busy. We have deaths, we have weddings, we have anniversaries, we have other stuff that's going on. So if you can implement a text, an email campaign, a follow-up, a door knocking campaign, a send out card following up with a heartfelt message campaign, after the 13th time, sure, delete them. Clean up your database. But if you're quitting after the first, second, or third time, you're missing opportunities because you're giving that person a message, and the next professional that calls them is hitting on them. Let's add it up 3, 5. Now that's the sixth time. That might be their first time they get lucky.
Yep.
So therefore, the averages of what I've learned over the years of marketing is 80% of all sales happen between the fifth and 13th time. Don't be you, the person that quits on the third, that gives a layup to your competition, who then calls them on the fifth or sixth time and gets his or her business dropped in their lap.
I have to admit, Jay, that's me. I don't really go to 12 and 13. One of the things I've tried to implement with people, maybe I meet you and you tell me you want to come to events, is after like 6 months, I'll send you that email. Jay, how you doing, brother? 6 months ago, you said you were interested. You haven't shown up yet. Let me know. Do you want to stay on the list? And it's interesting. I was telling you, I had one friend call me and just make fun of me. You're like, did I hurt your feelings? I'm like, well, yes, Jay, a little bit. It's been 6 months, bud. But I guess the line is, Jay, is I don't want to come across as like, Jay, are you coming? That I'm annoying you. So that's why please tell me one way or the other, Jay. If you're not interested, that's cool. We're still friends. but sometimes that doesn't work either. People still ignore me. And I'm like, okay, so shouldn't you just be upfront with people too? If you're not interested, you're not interested.
Definitely, because you want to sow the fields that can reap you the crops. And if you're spending time with deadbeats, right, it's wasting your good energy, it's wasting your good karma. So putting out a message like that is very helpful. If I don't hear from you, Jay, then I'm going to have to delete you to open up my database because my server only allows me such.
Yep.
That's awesome. I mean, Darren Hardy does that all the time. If you have Darren Hardy's message, if you don't click on one of his things, he send you an email saying, "We'd love to continue, but if we don't hear from you, we're going to have to, delete you." It's awesome. We
Yep.
learn these things from, other professionals like yourself, myself, and others. But it's a good way of just, we all have 86,400 seconds in a day. Use them to the best of your ability and you'll be successful. If you use them to the weakest of your ability, you'll work longer and harder for less money. And we don't want that.
So I want to flip over to the real estate just for a quick question. I love talking to realtors. What are you seeing in the market right now? What's going on? What's your prediction for the next year?
It's challenging. It's a seesaw. There's still some hot markets, and then there's some price changes. If you were on MLS, you had a daily listing from your local real estate agent. You're starting to see price changes, cancellations, withdrawals. Why? Interest rates nearly doubled over the last 7 months. Bitcoin, Dow Jones, NASDAQ has taken a lot of either IRA money, Roth money, or just the comfort money from the younger generation. It's going to be a choppy market over the next 6, 12, 24 months. We can't predict because the government is always potentially changing. War can happen more quickly. But I would say that, I tell people who are younger than me, I say, you live once. So if you're on the back nine, as I am at 54 years of age, be careful. If you're 25 years of age, go for it because you can make up for it. And when you're renting at 23, 25, $3,000 a month, $36,000 a year, you don't get much benefit out of that part. And that's how you have to look at it, is look at your own situation before you give a blanket of you should buy or not buy. And that's what I don't like about the media, is that you should buy or not buy. Well, it depends. Depends on age, circumstances, your job, your projections of where you want to be, etc. And that's why a good real estate consultant can help you deviate from the highs and lows and the propaganda that might be out there, because it's not always a great time to buy. It's always a great time to buy, particularly on a situation for you. And it's a great time to sell, particularly on a great situation for you. And if you can follow that strategy, you're better off, not just listening to the generalities.
I really like that advice, that it really is relevant to the person. It's not always yes and not always no. That was some really sound advice, my friend. What's the best way for people to reach out to you, Jay? How can they learn more about Send Out Cards or your real estate business?
Certainly, you can text me at 617-699-7442, or you can send me a quick email at jaymchugh.com. I'll get right back to you, and I look forward to helping you in any way I can.
Jay, really do appreciate taking a couple minutes to call in. And as always, thanks for being my friend.
Have a great day. Cheers.